Welcome to huevoicesdotcom. I'm Bobby Marvin, and on this segment, I'll be speaking with Grammy-nominated R&B artist Raheem DeVaughn. Throughout his career, DeVaughn has made a name for himself for emotionally charged music as heard on his previous albums, The Love Experience and Love Behind the Melody. To add to his impressive body of work, his latest project, the Love and War masterpiece, deals with social commentary on various topics such as war and injustice. So, tell me, Raheem, what inspires you to make this album?
I just standing to my roots and wanting to put out music, that has socially conscious lyrics and just reflects upon the times. Like, that's something I've been big on from day one. I think the Love Behind the Melody album is probably the only album where I didn't really, do that because that album was just, for me to serve a specific purpose. That was kind of like my baby maker joint. And I was working on the Love and War masterpiece at the same time, so I knew what was to follow. You know what I mean? So, once again, just wanted to be consistent with, what Marvin and Curtis and Bob Marley and those cats, the kind of like the flag that they started waving back in the 60s, 70s.
Did you receive any kickback, any fight from the label when you told them about your idea, your concept?
Nah, it ain't really a kickback, but I don't necessarily feel that they, like gung ho to go work the records either. Like, I got a record like Nobody Wins a War, which is a real big record, powerful message. For example, that record probably would never see the light of day unless I work it myself, which I plan on doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's for them. The job in particular, it's a machine that is based upon numbers and stuff like that. It's a number system. It's a numbers game. So, they'll work like 3 records and then pretty much look to moving on. Whereas this album is such a complete body of work, and I got a lot of great songs and a lot of great songs. I feel like that other songs that got potential to be singles. That at this point I'm shooting my own videos. I'm starting the records, and the records that take off. They'll be idiots not to get behind it. So it's no different than what I've been doing as an independent artist, where you have to invest in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Invest in your own career.
Yeah, man, I could definitely dig it. You can speak to, Raheem, the politics behind, as you call it, the machine of the music industry. I mean, artists like Kanye West, Lupe Fiasco has already proven that you can pretty much have radio success and commercial success with just being yourself. Why is it that they still fight against those type of artistic visions, those type of artistic ambitions?
I mean, I don't know if I could necessarily at this point in the game use Kanye and Lupe as an example. For me, although they're very talented, and for them, like, the message is contradicting at times. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, I'm not judging nobody. I mean, some might say the same thing about me. I definitely try to wear it on my sleeve that I make socially conscious music as well as making love songs and that type of thing. It really doesn't matter at this point what you're talking about, because everything is corporate. It matters to me as far as the message that comes out of my mouth. But in a world that we live in right now, everything is a corporate structure, from radio to television, to you know what I'm saying. So you got to pay to play the game. You know what I'm saying? So if you have revenue to support your records, whatever radio gonna play, or whatever it is. So you got to pay to play the game.
Do you ever find it difficult to balance both hats of catering to an audience that will accept the love songs that have fell in love pretty much with your romanticizing, and also carry the head of social commentary? Do you ever find it difficult?
Because I mean, I've never been concerned with that, because I I sell a body of work. Whenever I come out as an artist, I sell a complete body of work, some of which is socially conscious, some of which is love. It's not something that I just started doing out the blue. It's something I've been doing from day one. I have what you call a cult following. So what that means is I have a following that's been following me for at least 10 years, 15 years strong. So whenever they hear the word Raheem DeVaughn and new album or new music or new mixtape or whatever, all they doing is chiming in to hear new ones and see if the consistency is the same. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like, so I don't really have a fear of the fact that, you know, performing live or putting out music and them saying, well, all right, he put out a record like Bob and then he also put out a record like Bulletproof. You know what I'm saying? I think they're both very soulful records. I think that they both have very strong, valid points. And some of my best work to date, you know what I mean? So it's all about the delivery and the connection you make with the artist, with the audience live, and that's me and that live on stage. We have a great rapport with one another.
Raheem, I used to teach last year part-time, man, and one day I heard one of my kids run around singing Bulletproof. And you know they going off to it, man. And it was funny because I was at a high school / middle school for troubled kids that come from troubled backgrounds. Some were even juvenile offenders. My question for you is: did you ever thought that you would reach kids in a special way? Do you ever thought you would influence kids to take a look at their lifestyles and also, if possible, change their lifestyles?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm all about the dream, you know what I'm saying, and the dream being real and putting that out to people and putting that frequency in, you know, and I feel like, yeah, definitely, you know, the kids need us. You know, the market is oversaturated with things that, you know, don't necessarily lead them down the right road or give them the right advice. So I just try to restore the balance in that. But at the same time, their reality may not be my reality. You know what I mean? So I just try to chime into it as much as I can as a storyteller, as a songwriter, you know, as through my life experiences. But bigger than that, aside from the music, I go out to the schools. So I go out to the schools, I go out to the hood, like, so to establish that relationship and that rapport where they see like, all right, this is Raheem, like, this is a real dude. It's not the same cat, you know, that you may see just fly by night, come through your city in a tour bus and keep it moving. You know, especially for home. You know what I mean? Like, and when I say that, I mean Baltimore, included Baltimore, D.C., Maryland, and VA. You know what I mean? Like, I know the impact that it makes if you go sit in a high school, elementary school, junior high school for a half an hour. Like, it impacts their life. I remember doing back maybe 10 years now, over 10 years ago, doing an event down in Baltimore, right by City Hall, for like 1,500 kids. And I had an opportunity to meet one of the kids who's now 21 and ask him, because I was always curious. I'm like, yo, did that make a difference? Like, when I came out there, and at the time I didn't have like a big hit record. I have my independent music, The Hill and Floating Around, that type of thing. And I asked him, did it make a difference? And he told me, yeah. You know what I mean? So from there, I just kind of just ran with it, man. Like, you know, the kids need us, you know, and I mean, bigger than that. It's a lot of adults. We need one another still as an adult. So you can imagine, like, the you know, the challenges youth have now, you know, living as young adults. You know, it's kind of like they're young adults, you know.
Have you been keeping up with the elections this year, particularly in the Washington, D.C. area?
Yeah, I've been keeping up with it, man. I think it's gonna be interesting, you know, to see how it all unfolds.
Okay. In your opinion, what do you think are the issues of today? What do you think that needs to be addressed most during this election?
Public school situation as far as like programs for the youth. You know, making sure that, you know, teachers need to get more bread. You know, healthcare as far as HIV awareness in the high schools and in the young communities. You know, and you know the areas that are stricken by the poverty the most. So just anything they can outsource help the inner city. You know what I mean? The climate don't really change too much. You know what I mean? The regentrification. You know what I mean? As far as like them moving pretty much everybody out the city. There's a lot of different issues, man, that's going on. And it seems like it's happening in all the major cities. Oh. I tell the youth that all the time when I go to their schools, like the people around you, spend the majority of your time with them. You know what I mean? In the course of a day, this is your village. Like y'all can't be here and be each other's enemies. Y'all should be. While y'all young, you figure out how y'all can help each other. And figure out like, okay, what's your talent? What you like to do? What you know what I mean? Like, and I really preach about entrepreneurship as well. You know what I mean? So like, it's a catch-22.
I can dig it, man. You say that you also preach about entrepreneurship. Why is that important?
Well, I mean, I think till the lights go out on this thing like that. There's certain, definitely you can never go wrong with having a good few trades under your belt. Like a certain thing, people always want to get groomed and look nice, get their hair done, cut nails. You know what I mean? It's certain things that computers can't do, machines ain't gonna be able to do. You know what I mean? And so I think definitely to encourage everybody should have a trade or have a couple of different hustles under their belt.
You sing the same song I've been singing, man, to a couple of people, especially during this economic climate where black folks in particular are being affected tremendously. I often say, hey man, today's world you gotta have multiple hustles, not just one.
Yeah, but I mean, black people, we always been affected, man. The ones that's really feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You're hearing about it now because in white suburbia, they're feeling it. You know what I mean? Like, too. So that's why we've always been quote unquote down and out, and we find a way to make a way out of nothing, and get our hustle on and have 5 different things going on at one time and make ends meet. Like that's what we do. You know what I mean? Like so it becomes an issue when it starts to affect. You know what I mean? Like crack wasn't a problem until it got outside of the hood where it was planted.
You on tour right now, about to go overseas, man. What's your expectations, man? How's life for you overseas compared to stateside?
I'm expecting to go over there and not come back. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to lay down the groundwork. That I've been waiting for this opportunity, so I'm definitely going to seize the moment. I'm a firm believer. It's about being prepared for when the floodgates open, and this will be my first time going overseas extensively with my band. No really time constraints as far as like being able to perform as long as I want. Just a number of things. Seeing the world, being in a new environment. Performing for people that have never seen me before, live before. You know what I mean? So it's a great opportunity, and if all goes well, I'll be busy and going back and forth a lot.
All right, then. Thanks, Raheem. I appreciate your time. That concludes the interview.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.